All right. First of all, I want to go over the hatchery. I want you guys to explain why this is so important to the project at the moment. So we did increase the amount that can be in the hatchery. This is allowing people to deposit your MoveQuest into a smart contract. When you deposit into a smart contract, it's not considered in circulation because those have been removed from the market. They won't be sold. There's no selling pressure whenever you have tokens in a smart contract. That's why when the Evolution contract buys MoveQuest, we return it back to the vault for safekeeping. Can't be hacked, can't be stolen. It's safe. It's not going to be sold. It's not sitting in an Evolution wallet waiting to be used. And we have, 259,000 MoveQuest tokens that the Evolution contract has purchased between the time it went on the market all the way up to the $110 mark. It was purchasing that MoveQuest so that it could be paired to the USDT. Of course, it wants to buy it as low as possible, just like the community does. And you never know what the new low is going to be, right? Even when it was going up from $20, $30, $40, you're like, okay, is it going to come back down or isn't it? You just never know. It all depends on, if the community continues to build and share it and people are, coming in and using our project. So this hatchery is important because every single day we have 2,500 MoveQuest that are being mined from your proof of physical activity. The more physical fitness that you put in each day, the more mining of those tokens that you're receiving. It's increasing the amount of tokens that you're able to mine. But currently, there's only 2,500 a day that's available. And I'm skipping around a little bit, but I'm going to come back to the hatchery. A lot of people say that they're confused on this part. In our tokenomics, 5,000 MoveQuest tokens per day are allocated for year 1. Year 2, 3, and 4, it's 7,200 per day. The community is not at the size where 5,000 MoveQuest being mined per day is, equal to what is available here community-wise. No demand. There's not enough demand for that many tokens to go into circulation. So while we mirror Bitcoin's max supply of 21 million and their 4-year halving schedule, we do have some things that are different. So there is 2,500 of that 5,000 that's on reserve for when the demand is here. Those will be issued to all the wallets who have already mined MoveQuest tokens. So for example, if you mined 1.5 MoveQuest today, in reality, you've really mined 3 MoveQuest tokens today, but only 1.5 are available for distribution. The other 1.5 are still in that reserve contract for later distribution. So you're banking those essentially. And when the demand is here, then those will be gradually released into your wallets to match the size of the community, the liquidity, and all of that good stuff. Now, getting back to the hatchery, you take that 2,500 MoveQuest per day. Okay, so what this is showing you right here is August 1st, when we started the mining, 2,500 went into distribution. Okay, we are currently on, December 4th? So in total, 635,000 have actually gone into circulation. Okay, that's including what was also in the listing. So 315,000 from mining, the 220,000 that we did through the liquidity raise, and then the 100,000 that went into the listing to the $100,000 in USDT. Okay, that's a total of 635,000 MoveQuest tokens. Now I'm going to come over here and I want to share with you, of that 600 and some thousand MoveQuest, there's actually only 446,000 in total circulation because the Evolution contract has purchased 259,000 of that amount of MoveQuest, which is great because that's future liquidity. for the project. In contracts, there's 239,532 MoveQuest. This means that anybody who looks at the project knows that those tokens are not going to be sold. At least not right now, right? Because they're being held in contracts. The 207,000 that are being held by each of you in your wallets, that signals selling. Those are going to be sold. Why? Well, because they're not in a contract. They're sitting in a holder's wallet, and ultimately the end result for those are to be sold. Some of you will sell before there's a demand, and many of you are not selling because you're waiting for that demand. That's the smartest way when you're working, even if you're doing stocks, market, all that stuff. But in the crypto space, you buy low, you sell high. You don't sell low and buy high. I see that happening quite a bit with different users. Don't know who they are. I can just see the wallets. And a lot of it is, like last minute FOMO, really, because you'll start to see the price go up. You just sold low, you start to see the price go up. So you jump in, you want to buy it high, then it turn around, comes down again. And so you end up selling it lower than you bought it for. And then you get into this, cyclone effect where you're always selling low and buying high. Nobody wants to do that. So you've got to be able to watch the markets without any emotion whatsoever involved in what you're doing. You have to use, common sense, not emotion. Crypto always goes up and down. That's just the way it goes. What you don't see are crypto projects that have a nearly fluid pool. We've only been listed for 4 months. We've been building this project for 3.5 years. We're on the Binance Smart Chain, and that doesn't have anywhere near the users that we have over here on the Avalanche chain. There's about 500 people that are mining over there. So that one hasn't taken off the way we would like to see it take off. But on the Avalanche chain, where we have a community of over 5,000 people, this is active. It's got a healthy liquidity pool. It's got a healthy ecosystem. People are submitting, they're claiming, they're minting, they're docking those miners, they're evolving those miners, they're, putting their MoveQuest into the hatchery. You've got a healthy ecosystem on the Avalanche chain. And so you see a whole different dynamic here. Now, hopefully we'll get the Binance Smart Chain, racked up here pretty soon where, you can be benefiting from both chains. But right now we're still focused on, getting this one even more stable than what it is. So coming back to this hatchery, this is an excellent way for people to be able to hold on to their MoveQuest and still be able to acquire miners. And so what you do is you go to the exchange, you buy that MoveQuest, you come back, you deposit it in the hatchery, and in 7 days, you have a mover, or in 14 days, you have a trailblazer, or in 21 days, you have an explorer, or in 28 days, you have a vanguard. And that vanguard, yeah, you had to deposit $550 of MoveQuest. Why, you ask? What's the point of that? Because that's almost double what it would cost if you were to just go mint the movers and then evolve all the way up. Well, you're getting all of that back. So it's basically putting it into a savings account, and it's saying that for 28 days, $550 of that MoveQuest is not going to be sold because it's in the hatchery and it's incubating a Vanguard miner. And you need 2 of those, and then you can, when you claim your Vanguards, you go to the evolution contract and you evolve and level up 2 Vanguards for 1 Titan, and now you've got the highest powered miner in MoveQuest. The significance of this is that MoveQuest that's not in your wallets. So we have increased it to the 150,000 MoveQuest because that is the 134,000 and then 2,500 per day. I think it was for 7 days and blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, it's 150,000 there right now. Those of you who are holding on to that MoveQuest, we have the leasing that is almost ready. It could be any day now. They just have to finish doing that testing and make sure that there's no bugs in it. And that's just technology. Whenever you're creating a new feature, especially when it has to do the activity that this project does on chain. For any of you who are familiar with blockchain, you know that blockchain is not really cut out to do the types of things that MoveQuest is doing, which is probably why nobody has done it before. Everything is literally on chain. There's no centralization here when it comes to your money. Now, that being said, somebody had made a comment the other day, well, this is not decentralized then because, the creator or the developers can change the prices on, let's say, the evolution or on the minting or even on the hatchery. What you have to understand is that's not a part that needs to be in the decentralization. Decentralization means it's your money, what you need to be in control of, your assets, your NFTs, your miners, when you evolve them, all of that. You're earning commissions when you're helping to build the community, your mining rewards, that is all decentralized. If it's something that you interact with that has to do with your money, it's completely decentralized. The miners are a product of MoveQuest. I can do whatever I want with those. I can increase their mining power. I can change the price on those. The developer can do that. If the demand for the miners is, increasing, we're getting up to that 100,000 mark, and we lock that MoveQuest. Okay, so let's say right now it takes almost 4 MoveQuest to mint a mover. We're going to lock it there when there's between 50 and 100,000 movers in circulation. There's an algorithm that we pay attention to. So it could happen anytime between 50,000 and 100,000. We're almost at that 50,000 mark. But that's the product of this project. It's not affecting anything that you're holding or that you own. We can't change what you own, but we can change what a new person may come in and mint, because that's our product. Just like anybody here, you can go create your own miners and you can build upon our project. It is on the blockchain. This is something that even other people can build on, and they can even add to this ecosystem in this economy. It is decentralized at that level, but this product is something that we manufacture. We're the manufacturer of this product. So I just want everybody to kind of understand what the differences are there. And so that we don't have a DAO or a DAO, whatever some people call it, either one at this point in time. And if we do, we'll incorporate that into the future. We have renounced that MoveQuest contract, so there can be no adjustments to the tokens or anything like that. But the miners are a product of this project. So that part, if somebody tells you, well, it's not decentralized because they can give promotions. Well, yeah, we can, because we're the manufacturer of this product. It's not something that person created. I can't go in and change whatever he created or she created. So anyway, I just want to clear that up. So here with the MoveQuest, as that market value goes up, we'll be locking the price on the Lennies. Okay, what that means, and we're coming close to it. You guys, I got to tell you, I love seeing the market value at this price. I know that sounds absolutely terrible because everybody wants to see the market value increase, right? You don't want to see, the goal isn't to watch it drop. We all know this. But to me, it's exciting for me because if I go to the Get Fit Mining website, and I'm going to go over, let's see, let's go to the start page just so I can show you. Oh, that's not where I want to be. Let me go to the mover side. Can somebody tell me what the MoveQuest is right now? Is it like 3.4.5 to mint a miner? I think it is. It's about 3, maybe 4 MoveQuest to mint a mover. Okay, we're approaching that 50,000 miners in circulation. And that means that here very soon, it's going to lock at that price. It will not matter. It will lock, and let's say it locks today. Let's say it takes 4 MoveQuests to mint a miner, to mint the mover. And then over the next 2 weeks, the price just takes off. It won't adjust. It will always take 4 MoveQuest. So if MoveQuest gets up to $50, guess what? It's $200 to mint a mover. Not 50. It's locked at 50 right now. But it's going to cost a whole lot more in the very near future to mint a mover. And then you have to go through the evolution process. So while a lot of people are saying that you're kind of waiting to build because of the app and whatnot, you got to understand that this is probably the best time ever for somebody to be getting involved in the project, because we haven't reached that 50,000 miners yet. We are so close. Let me see here if it'll tell me. If I go to the stats. These stats are not completely updated yet. They should be. We've got a whole lot more that have come in through the MoveQuest site, but from the Get Fit site, 35,255. And I know that we're pushing probably 4,000 to 5,000 more if you combine MoveQuest and Get Fit. So we're pushing at about 40,000 miners that are in the mining dock right now. That means about 10,000 miners from now, and we don't know what the algorithm is going to be like at 40,000. We don't know what that liquidity is like. We don't know how many people are submitting. All of these factors play into that algorithm, but let's just say it locks at 50,000. And it takes 4 MoveQuest now and forever. It will always take 4 MoveQuest. So all of those movers that you're holding are going to now increase in market value. Their value has just increased. So over the last 4 months, this is what's been happening with your miners. Okay, they do increase in market value as time goes on, okay, as more people are coming into the community. When I say that this is a community-driven project, I mean that with all sincerity. And I say it with massive conviction because that's what drives this project. It's not somebody behind the scenes pushing buttons and manipulating the market or anything of that nature. It is literally the community growing. As the community grows, then you start to see all of these dynamics take place within the ecosystem. This is where your leasing becomes extremely important. Why? Because not everybody is going to be able to afford that increased market value to mint a mover. What costs $50 right now, if that price locked and it still takes 4 MoveQuest and MoveQuest goes up to $100 again, which it will in the future, it's going to cost $400 just to mint a mover. If you want 8 Titans, you need 16 of those. If you do the math on that, that's a lot of money just to get your movers. You need 16 movers times that by $400. It's $6,400 just to mint those miners. 16 movers times 400 is 6,400. Now you have to evolve those up. And that's an additional, like, what, 400 and something, I think, per miner after we end these promotions on Friday, which they stop Friday at 9 p.m. So you're looking at almost $12,000 to $13,000 just to mine with 8 Titans when that market value locks, if it locked, or that cost to mint those miners, if it locks at that 4 MoveQuest token. So when I tell you that I'm not disappointed when I see the market value here, okay, versus when it was at $100. When it was at $100, it only took half of a MoveQuest to mint that miner. So when it's low like this and that locks, that means that more MoveQuest is always going to be coming out of circulation when people do mint those miners and going back into the vault for future mining. And it's going to have a greater impact on the supply and demand of what's being removed from circulation from the minting of those miners. That's just talking about minting the miners. Now, the leasing of the miners, why this is important and why you do want to be involved in that is because not everybody's going to be able to afford $6,400 to mint the movers and then evolve them up to their 8 Titans. So what's the next best thing? Lease those miners. So what do? They go to the global marketplace, or if it's somebody that you know, they'll go to your private marketplace and they'll stake to your miners. They'll pay you a rental fee and they get to submit and claim just like you do. You get your rental fee up front, and they get all the MoveQuest that they mine from their proof of physical activity. You don't make anything off of the tokens that they're mining. Those belong to them 100%. They're just renting that miner from you. You're supplying them with that device to be able to mine those tokens from your proof of physical activity. So stocking up on those miners is a big deal right now. So coming back to the hatchery, yes, it's $3 for you to hatch a mover. It's $6 to hatch a Trailblazer, 12 to hatch an Explorer, and 24 to hatch a Vanguard. But it's $750, okay, to evolve up to a Titan, from minting a mover all the way to a Titan. So if you can get 2 Vanguards for $48, and then you can turn around and you can evolve them up to the Titans for $200, you just got a Titan for $248. So this hatchery allows people to get started without having to spend that amount of money on those movers once that does lock. This is a big deal here because those same people will go buy that MoveQuest on the exchange and they will deposit it into the smart contract. It removes it from being sold in circulation from anywhere 7 days to 28 days. Okay, that's a positive effect, a positive impact on that liquidity pool. And they're also able to now incubate those miners. Those of you who have all of that MoveQuest that you're holding on to in your wallets, you should be depositing it into the hatchery and getting as many of these miners as possible. You're mining with 8, but when the leasing opens and it costs more than a person can afford to mint these miners, they're going to come looking for those miners that you're going to be leasing. What you charge is completely up to you. Again, it's decentralized, so we don't have any control over that. But you'd want to look at some key factors. What is the market value of the token? What's the average amount of MoveQuest that a person can mine using that miner? And then charge a fee that you think is fair for the rental of that miner. You can charge it daily, weekly, monthly. The bottom line is they have to pay that rental fee up front. That way you don't lose money. If they don't submit, they don't claim, that's on them. Just like it is on anybody else in the community. If they don't submit, they don't have anything to claim. But you did get your rental fee that was paid up front to you. You just determined the amount. It'll also make it competitive on the marketplace. So if somebody wanted to gouge somebody on the price of their miner, they may go look for something that's not as expensive, but comparable in the ability of what in its capabilities of the MoveQuest that it can mine. And I would always base it on maxing out the physical activity, because that's what that miner is capable of doing. You shouldn't care whether they'll do all of that activity or not, because that's not something that you're in control of. They're in control of that. And so you would always want to base your rental fee on the max ability of that miner. I mean, anybody can max out the physical activity on a daily basis. I don't care, what your health level is. You can dribble a ball. If you can move your hand, you can dribble a ball. If you can swing your arm, you can hit a tennis ball up against a garage wall. If you're sitting on the couch, you can get one of those little stepper things that you sit right in place, and you can be moving your feet and you can be cranking up them steps in that distance. There's really no excuse for a person not to max out the physical activity unless you are just downright in bed, sick, can't move, or, but for the most part, the vast majority of people, you can max out that physical activity. So when somebody always tells me I don't max out, I know for a fact if I don't max out, it's just because I didn't apply myself. Because I don't have to be running, a marathon. I don't have to be sweating a bucket of sweat, right, to max out my physical activity. There's so many other things that I can do. I put weights on my arms and I dribble I did go buy basketball. I used to play basketball and I dribble that. I do hit my tennis ball up against the garage, and it's actually making my game a little bit better. I'm about ready to step up to racquetball. That's my next feat. And I wouldn't say it was ever a hobby of mine, but I was crocheting for my granddaughter one day and I'm like, oh my God, that got my steps up. I'm maxing out, but I'm doing something that is physical. I'm not sitting at a computer all day. I'm not watching TV. I'm not playing on my phone. I'm exerting myself. I'm getting that physical activity. So when you're deciding what that rental fee will be, base it on what that miner's capability is, not what that person might do, because they're capable of doing all of that activity. So that's the hatchery. So what I'm saying to everybody who's here on this call, take advantage of the hatchery because you're going to be able to stock up on those miners. And there will come a time in the very near future where you'll be able to auction off your miners. You'll be able to trade your miners with other people who have miners. Maybe you want something that they have and they want what you have. You'll be able to swap them, and you'll also be able to sell them on the marketplace, just like you would if you were on OpenSea. So having that arsenal of miners, that's your digital real estate. Again, I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but if you wanted to max out using what this project offers, you would want to have enough miners for leasing in the future, because there will come a time, and it may not happen on day 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, or 20, but in the near future, when that market value goes back up and it's too expensive to mint those miners, that leasing is going to become a very wanted feature of this application. It's going to become very much so in demand. The leasing, if we're lucky, is going to be ready here in the next, couple of days. So they are just finishing up the testing on it. And just like with the hatchery, anything else that we ever add feature-wise, we always have to debug it. That's just and it always comes up with a bug. You think you got everything fixed, and then we do, like kind of stress test it to, if we had 1 million users, what would happen? And bam, something will pop in. And so we fix it, because that's the last thing we want to have happen, is to go viral or to have massive growth. And then all of a sudden a bug gets, finds its way into our system. All right, getting back to the liquidity, because a lot of people, I think, don't totally understand this. It's very important that you understand how the liquidity works. Okay. If you have, think about it like this. If you have a swimming pool, okay, look at my backyard right now. If I had 100 people that got into my pool only on one side and 10 on the other, it's going to drive that water up on one side only. Okay. We're probably the other people that are sitting there that only have 10 on the other side of the pool are going to want to get out, because the 100 people over here, just push that all the way up. Okay. Made the pool heavier on one side. That's what the liquidity pool is. When it got started, it had equal dollar value of MoveQuest to the USDT. We listed at $1. Okay. I don't know. I had this here. I was just playing with stuff here the other day. $100,000 in USDT and $100,000 in market value of MoveQuest. 100,000 MoveQuest, 100,000 USDT equaled $1 market value. From there, the community takes over, and the evolution and all of the other pieces within the ecosystem. We have a max supply of 21 million. Right now in the vault, there's 20,553,010 MoveQuests. 259,000 of those belong to the evolution contract. Those were purchased anywhere from the low market value all the way up to, I think it was $80 or $90 even. This here is the amount of MoveQuests that people have sent to the MoveQuest smart contract. Those MoveQuests can never be retrieved. We've renounced that contract. We have zero access to it. The mining dock, that's people who come in, unlock their mining dock slots using the MoveQuest. There's currently 86 sitting in that smart contract, but those get transferred out of that contract and into the liquidity pool. The compensation plan is sitting there with 3,077 MoveQuest. Okay, the net amount of MoveQuest that stays with the project, that goes back into the vault for future mining. That is when somebody comes in to our project, they mint the movers, you get your commission, and then the project takes the net value of the MoveQuest that wasn't paid in commission, and it puts it back into the vault. This is the part where we say the onboarding here, this minting, this doesn't come into play where the liquidity is concerned in any way, shape, or form, where in one respect, meaning it does not take new people coming in to this project to stabilize it or for you to earn money. Has zero effect on that. The only thing when a person mints those miners, that MoveQuest does is get returned to the vault to be mined in the year 2060 and beyond. It doesn't get used for liquidity. It doesn't get used as profit to the project. It doesn't get used for anything. It doesn't pay, it pays you your commission. The rest goes back to the vault. So that's managed by smart contracts. It's done in real time. That smart contract acts like a, what do you call it? An escrow. Okay, so it's all, your money is always there immediately, instantly, and in real time. Okay. It doesn't need new money to come into the project in order for you to get paid, because the minute somebody mints that miner, that smart contract already knows this wallet, this wallet, this wallet, this wallet is going to get paid, and it sets it aside and it waits for you to claim it. It stays in that smart contract. Okay, so again, not to bring up anything, Ponzi pyramid scheme. If anybody tells you, oh, it just sounds like a Ponzi or pyramid scheme, you need to tell them go back to the drawing board and educate themselves on what a Ponzi scheme is or what a pyramid scheme is. And that simply means that it's not sustainable. It needs new money coming into the project in order for it to sustain itself. But this is the only place where you could say it needed new people, but none of that is used. We don't even use that. It just instantly pays your commission in real time, and it sends the rest to the vault for future mining down the road. The ecosystem in a crypto project is the use case for that MoveQuest token, the utility behind that use, the MoveQuest. If you don't have utility behind that token, you've got an issue with securities, okay? And you need to be registered with the SEC. The minute that a person starts anything with this project, they have to have that MoveQuest. You can't get started in MoveQuest without the use of that token. It is the utility of this project. If you're going to mint a miner, you have to have MoveQuest. If you're going to lease a miner, you have to have MoveQuest. And if you are going to incubate a miner in the hatchery, you have to have MoveQuest. You cannot get started in this project without MoveQuest. So there is no security issue here. It is a utility-backed token. And then, of course, it even has more utility inside the ecosystem again. And we continue to add even more utility for this token so that it has even more use case within this project. The Evolution was holding 892 tokens. Of that 259,000 that is in the vault, we don't really touch them. There's been 5,000 that have been added to the liquidity in, I don't know, over the last maybe I don't know if it was 2 months ago. I'd have to go back and look through my spreadsheets. But there was a significant amount of selling. And so we did dip into that reserve. There was over 260,000 of them. Now there's 259 to add that to the liquidity. We don't dip into that because it would be silly. And I'm just going to show you why down here. If you look at, and I have it right here, the 259,000 MoveQuest that are sitting in that vault from the Evolution purchases, at the current market value, it's only got a value of $3,262,000. Okay. Now, if I change this, and let's say MoveQuest is back up at that $110 mark, okay, and we take this amount of MoveQuest and we times it by the $110 market value, you're looking at $28,549,950 that MoveQuest has in value. So you don't squander it right now when there's not a demand for it. Okay, right now there's already 58,917 MoveQuest in the liquidity pool. Okay, we're pushing almost $20 million that has been paid out to our community. And that's from the buying and the selling, right? That's people who've come in, they've minted the miners, they've evolved, they're docking, they're mining their tokens from their proof of physical activity. They're earning these tokens and they're going to the exchange and they're selling them. And we're pushing almost that $20 million mark. So in the last 4 months, over $20 million, or almost, I should say, has been added to that liquidity pool. Excuse me. We were ranging anywhere from 20,000, 18,000 to 24,000 MoveQuest tokens in that pool with about $2 to $3 million in USDT. What's happening here is that the selling pressure has been a lot higher, and you don't see the evolution buying the MoveQuest. It was buying because it needed it to add that liquidity, but it's got plenty now in reserve. So you don't see it buying the MoveQuest. It adds the liquidity based on the MoveQuest that's coming in. The MoveQuest that's coming in is coming in through the mining docks. It's coming in through the different features that we have in the ecosystem. When it comes in, it's added to the USDT and it's paired to the liquidity. You don't want to oversaturate the market with the MoveQuest tokens. You want to get as fluid as possible before you go and you do that type of deposit. So it is depositing everything that comes in, because from your submissions, what comes in through the mining docks and the different areas, it does pair it and it adds it. Sometimes it's not every day. Sometimes it's, a couple of days at a time. Like today, I think it added almost 40,000. Over the last 8 days, it added $270 some thousand in liquidity. That's from activity, MoveQuest USDT, and all that coming in from the ecosystem. So it's got an over amount of MoveQuest compared to what it used to have. This is not a bad thing. What this means is that people who are overselling right now, they're getting a lower market value. They're not getting that $110 market value when we had first listed, when everybody was excited and the price was going up. And that's normal for any project. That's what happens. So when you look at these numbers here, it's actually a very good thing. Okay. Right now, we're going to go up here. These are going back to what's in the wallets. Okay. This is the hatchery. I love this right here. We need to get that up to, okay, let's see here, 446,000. This is what's in contracts. We got 207,000 still sitting in circulation. We bump another 100,000 into that hatchery. You're looking at 107,000 that's in the wallet holders. So let me bump. I'm going to show you how this dynamic changes. So let's come down here and look. Do you see here the FDV wallet holders? Okay, current liquidity is $1,481,050. The users are holding 207,000 MoveQuest tokens in their wallets. At this market price, that's $2,607,000. That means that if everybody who was holding that MoveQuest wanted to go and sell it right now this minute, that pool would need $2.6 million in order for that to happen. So it needs 1.1 million to be fluid. We've already got 259,000 that's banked. So it would take 44,812 MoveQuest tokens that's already been purchased by the Evolution to $574,505 in USDT, which is going to give us that 1.126 in liquidity that we need. What I'm going to show you is that if we had the 200,000, okay, 200, whoops, sorry. Oh, I can't change that. So where does this go? Right here. I can change it right here. 233,000. We're going to bump this up. Okay. Do you see how we would already be fluid? We would actually have 66,000 over in the pool. Just the community going in and depositing into that hatchery takes our pool to fluid. Literally right there. Why? Because it pulled out that excess MoveQuest token. Now, you got to understand that 233,000 is going to come out 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, 28 days. So it's not like a long-term fluid level, but it gives you that 7 to 28 days to really get out there and start building and beefing up the community and even making that pool stronger. It's one maneuver. It's just pulling X amount of MoveQuest out of circulation, and that dynamic changes. We added 150,000. We made it so that 150,000 can be deposited. And you can see here it changes, where it would just be shy that 469,000 in USDT, but it dropped it from needing 48,000 MoveQuest tokens down to 36,000 MoveQuest tokens. Why is that significant? You don't want to squander away what we have here. Because if we use all of this while the market value is really, really low, we lose all of this when the market value goes back up. So right now, if we were going to deposit $1,000 of USDT into liquidity, we would need almost 80 MoveQuest tokens. But if it gets up to that $100 mark, we would only need 4 MoveQuest tokens to that same $1,000. And so you are making that MoveQuest work for you. And so these are all the dynamics that we look at in those algorithms and for this pool. And so if the evolution is heavier, or if if there's more USDT coming in that there is MoveQuest to deposit where the community isn't growing, that's being banked to match this down the road to stabilize the market value for these people, the people in the hatchery, the people that are, holding those tokens, not the sellers. Your everyday seller right now, that's not what you don't want to worry about that. Okay. We're not worried about what the future holds in their market value of their MoveQuest because they've already found that comfort zone that they're happy with. They love the $12. They're happy to sell it at $12. So we've already met their demand. We don't have to worry about them. What does come into all of these calculations and the stabilization of the pool and the future thinking and, buying the MoveQuest at these different levels and stabilizing it for that future growth. It's those holders who are not happy with that $12. We've already met the demand for the people who are selling at these low prices. We've met that demand. Now we got to meet the demand for those holders. So it does no good to saturate the current liquidity before that demand is here. But the submissions and all of that stuff that's within the ecosystem, it does go into the liquidity. Somebody was asking in one of the chats today, where's all the submissions at? Yeah, right now it's about, I would say about $55,000 a week that goes into submissions based on the current size of the community. And this week alone, we've already added over $270,000 in liquidity. Okay, so it's already added way more and above what even just the submissions are, because you do have the evolution, you have the hatchery, you've got all these other different things that it pairs to and it deposits. And it's currently sitting at about $100,000 that still needs to go into the liquidity, but it needs that MoveQuest. But again, the demand isn't there for it. So there's no reason to take that MoveQuest out of this when we already know it's going to be coming in from the docking and the other different features. Because if we take it from the vault, which we do when it's necessary, right? You can't let that sit there too long, but it can sit there for a couple of days before you even start thinking about dipping into, what's been banked from the evolution. And you keep it stable for the people who are selling. When the demand is here, that market value of that token is going to be increasing. It's going to have all that USDT, the AVAX, and all that to add to what's been banked right here. So I hope everyone understands, how that dynamic works and why it operates in the manner that it does, and how all of this affects being fluid and the market value. So all of you who are holding that MoveQuest, if your plan is not to sell it, you really should get into that hatchery, even if you're only going to hatch the Lennies, or not Lennies now, movers. When we come back over here to this, I know it's got those costs here. It's such a discount though, compared to what it is if you mint and evolve. The hatchery is a great way to get these miners. But even at the $3 mark, yes, you got to have $100 in MoveQuest. You guys are sitting on 207,000 MoveQuest in your wallets. All you need is the $3 in USDT, and you can be incubating and hatching these movers, these trailblazers, these explorers, these vanguards. And that's what you want to be doing, because when it becomes too expensive to mint the miners, people are going to want your miners. They're going to want to lease them, or they're going to want to buy them. And you might as well make your MoveQuest work for you. So if you're holding because you understand, how this liquidity, self-funding ecosystem operates, what's in the smart contracts, This here, we talk about the airdrop distribution, 2,500 a day of these go out from that proof of physical activity. It's just got, uh, like a cushioned amount because we don't know when we're going to increase it. As soon as, I mean, it can happen at any day. So we just make sure that there's enough in there, for 30 to 60 days, because if we increase it up to 3,000, 3,500, as the community, and we're getting close to that. It's not that far away. We're getting closer to being fluid. We're getting closer to where there's extra amounts of Titans that are mining right now, where we're going to be able to increase the amount of MoveQuest that's going out every day. So while you may look at the project and see, oh, the market value is going down, I'm telling you guys that there's a whole lot more to this project than just the market value of this token. It's all the dynamics that are working behind the scenes. All of these little intricacies that play a role in what happens in this ecosystem of this project. And so love your sellers. Seriously, love your sellers, because they're making it possible for this pool to become even more fluid. Not only that, but they're making your miners even more valuable, because the more miners that are being docked, the closer we get to 50,000, the more valuable your miners become. Your sellers are hurting themselves while they're helping you. They're getting that instant gratification, okay, because they're selling. They're happy at that market value. Yay, good for them. I'm happy for them. Seriously. It doesn't matter to me at what price people sell. It really doesn't. This is a stable project because of the self-funding ecosystem. It don't bother me when people are selling. Every time I see that market value go down, I think, my miners just became more valuable, because it's going to lock here pretty soon. And those miners are going to cost a lot to mine. What does that mean? It means it's going to drive up the demand for those miners to be leased, because people can't afford to min them. Those of you who have those extra miners, you're going to be able to sell them, trade them, lease them, do whatever you want with them. And that demand for them are going to be there. We're becoming more fluid, our pool, because we don't have that many we don't have hardly any tokens in circulation. Yes, this right here is way off, and that's because CoinMarketCap, we cannot get listed on CoinMarketCap until we get our website on movequest.com and movequest.io. And so we're hopefully going to be finishing up we're fixing things. You guys have found a lot of different things in our like pop-up messages that need to be there, or little things that, help people navigate a little bit better. You guys have been very helpful in us getting that Web3 tweaked and working much better as far as messaging and, how it works and functions, little bugs and things here that we have found. And so hopefully here by the end of the week, we'll be able to move over to the movequest.com. When we do that, we'll be able to submit that over to CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, those different sites, and they'll be able to see what contracts are holding the MoveQuest token. See, we give them every contract that holds MoveQuest, and then they take those out of circulation so that they have an accurate circulating supply. So when you look at the real circulating supply, and let me put this back down to, I don't know, 134,000, just to level it out, make it right. There is literally only 207,000 of these tokens in circulation. Where do you see that? All these projects that are out there, they want billions and trillions and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of tokens, because they think that if they can sell you on a concept that you're holding 10 million tokens and all it's got to do is get to 0.01 and you've made a $500,000 or $1 million, I can sell you on that vision. That's never going to happen, because it can't get past 0.000001. Okay, because there's way too many in circulation. They don't have utility for their token. They don't have a self-funding ecosystem. All they did was drag a bunch of money out of your pocketbook, and when you're done and they're done, you're holding millions of tokens that have zero value. And that's just the bare bone facts. There's 207,000 tokens currently in circulation. 446, okay, let's get real, 446,000 that are in circulation. And I don't believe, let's see, does that count? Yeah, it does count. So really you need to take another 58,917 off of that 446 because those have already been sold. They're in a liquidity pool contract, so even those wouldn't be counted in that 446 because of the liquidity. That's it. That's nothing. You guys, I don't know if all this is making sense or if I'm just talking too much, but so that hatchery is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And it plays a major role in the fluid, the FDV, the fully diluted value of that pool. All right. That's all I got, guys. I don't think there's anything else. I will be on more calls because I'm really going to start explaining this. The leasing. Okay, let me explain something to you guys too, because there's some confusion here. There is no mining dock slots to unlock with the leasing of your miners, but there are slot fees, okay, when you're mining. So even in your current mining dock, okay, you own your miners, you unlock those dock slots with MoveQuest, but every single dock slot you plug in a miner. If you unplug a miner and you plug it back in, there is a 50-cent in-app fee. Okay, that's paid in AVAX. That's part of the ecosystem. It's part of the liquidity provision. So in that contract, it collects MoveQuest because you've unlocked the dock. It also collects AVAX 50 cents. So when you undock a miner and then you plug it back in, it's a 50-cent AVAX fee. So slot fees, dock fees are two different things. There will be slot fees with the leasing, meaning when a new user comes in, they lease those miners. No, they don't have to pay a dock slot fee to unlock it, nor do you. But they will pay that 50-cent slot fee to plug in their miner. So the other day, that was something that had come up in conversation in one of the WhatsApp groups. And so I just wanted to clarify that there is a difference between slot fees, dock fees. And I am working on a glossary of terms for everybody. I was hoping to have it done yesterday. I'm not done with it yet, but it'll kind of give you, okay, what does this mean? You can go look it up. It'll tell you right there. Oh, somebody else today, I was going to show you this too. Just give you guys a little idea. I love looking at this, okay? Scenarios. And of course, like I said, when you're renting out your miners to people, lease them out based on their max mining power. What's the max amount that you can mine if you max out your physical fitness? Well, I do the same thing here on this sheet. In a perfect world, if we had XYZ join our community, they mint XYZ miners and everybody evolves up to Titan, where would the market value be? So currently, we're in a market value of $12.59. Now, I'll show you what it takes to get down here to $483. 4,750 people who mint 16 movers and evolve them up to Titan and plug them into the mining dock. And we're at $500 in market value of this token. There's a little more than what we currently have right now submitting. We have a community of about 5,000 people. But you got to remember, the token started at $1 with 100,000 MoveQuest in that pool. So there's only 58,000 in that pool now, and almost $1 million in USDT. So it's a whole different situation than what we had when we listed the token. We started from $1 with 100,000 MoveQuest tokens in that pool. So it doesn't take as much work to get up to those higher levels. It's just about building the community, guys. That's it. When this community takes off and we go viral, those of you who are holding your tokens, you are creating your own wealth here because you have to remember you've got double banked. If you're mining 1.5 tokens today, you really mined 3. If you only mined a half a token, you actually mined 1. When that MoveQuest is $493, okay, when we've been doubled the size of our community who have minted those 16 movers and evolved them all the way up to Titan, your physical day is paying you almost $2,000 a day. That's what you are looking to in the future. Now, take it back down here. 1,900 people who mint the 16 miners, evolve them up to Titan, get them plugged in and start mining. You're looking at the token being back up in the range that it was. So that's all it's going to take. That's, if it took us 10 people a day for the next 120, 195 days or whatever it is, that's how long it would take to get to the 118. But this could be done almost overnight. The caliber of people that we have here in this community, this is nothing to get back up to that range. In fact, we were doing this in a week when we first listed in August. So nobody can complain about the market value of the token because it's stabilizing and it's doing exactly what the community is telling it to do. If you want the token to go up, we have to share it, build the community. That's just common sense. And that's with anything that gets started. I mean, Bitcoin, when it got started, it was never going to reach $100,000, which I believe it hit today, with 1,000 people. Okay, if you want to come and look at something here, just give you a little bit of background here. When Bitcoin got started in the year 2009, there was less than 1,000 people. And it could barely get up to 60 cents. I don't even think it hit 60 cents. I don't even think it made it over 10 cents. I have to go back and look at my other spreadsheets. And then a year later, it only had a few thousand people. Okay, in 4 months, we already have more people in our project than Bitcoin had in 2 years. Bitcoin didn't hit $60 until I think its third year. Okay, we've already hit $60. We did that in our first month. Just giving you some, side by sides. It's a very powerful project. And you just have to understand all the intricate pieces and how all the mechanics work, and totally self-funding ecosystem. Okay, based on the community, based on the ecosystem. It has a full ecosystem here, has a full use case for that token. And it's just going to get stronger and stronger every day.
Lynette,
To speak to them, sir.
I
Oh,
don't
go
know
ahead.
if you've ever worked these numbers or in recent history anyway, with the impending leasing starting. The spreadsheet that you just did showed 1,900 people coming in to kind of that actually bought miners and evolved and all of that kind of stuff, right? That would help bring the value of the token back up. Do we know what the numbers look like if nobody did that, but just came in with people leasing to put us back there? Because
Yep.
the health
So
aspect is what I still feel is one of the major, major overlooked components of this entire ecosystem and platform that we're not harnessing enough of. There's enough
yeah,
people around the world that could
we really
benefit.
100%. We really need that testimonials page up. I mean, the number of people that have lost weight using this project, the number of people that it's benefited their lives. I hear it every day. It's changed my life. It's changed my life. It's changed my life over and over and over and over. I've lost 100 pounds, 75 pounds. And why? Because it's a lifestyle change. And how did you acquire that or achieve those goals? Because I was motivated by the incentivization of this project. And it's completely decentralized so that we did not have to worry about any issues. There's no centralization here. You manage and run this entire project where your monies are concerned. Now, getting to what you said, and I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to inject that anyway, when Ken was talking. So we can do this overnight, literally, by blowing out the growth of the community, right? We can drive this market value up. We can really make this thing pop by, you know, building the community, people minting those miners, evolving. Now, on a slower level, focusing on obviously the health, because that's what this app is all about, and leasing, people just leasing those miners. So if that same 1,900 people each were leasing 8 miners, and plus what we already have in the mining dock, that would be 55,200 miners that we're submitting on a day-to-day basis. Now, if you just take that submission, and I'm just going to do an average submission, that's about $66,000 a day that's going into the liquidity. Now, times that by 365 days out of the year, that's over 24 million that is in liquidity. So we're talking nobody ever mints another miner, right? They're just going to lease them. The same 1,900 people, if they're submitting every day, okay, just to get to the $118 point, the USD pool and pooled MoveQuest, okay, that's just talking about what's in circulation at the moment, or in that liquidity pool at the moment, would be double this right here. So we'd be talking about $4.4 million in liquidity. Now, we're talking with that 1,900 people, we're talking 24 million over 1 year. So I have to get to that point. Let me see what market value we would have. I'm just going to put this up to 100. So it's back at the 19,000. We would have, okay, 30 million in the pool, 15 million USDT. The market value of the MoveQuest would be equal to that as well. So we would have a market value of MoveQuest if we had those 1,900 people leasing those 8 miners, submitting every day over 1 year. The market value of the token would go to $6,400. That's nobody minting a miner. That's just people leasing the miners. That's not one single person coming in and minting a miner. They're just simply in our ecosystem. They're leasing and they're submitting. We would be looking at $6,500 in a market value of our token just from leasing the miners. So that's pretty mind-blowing right there.
You muted, Ken.
Is that what you were looking for, Herschel?
No, I
Yes,
was just saying,
ma'am.
how many people was that again?
That's 1,900 people minting 8 miners. And then the submissions, it ends up being about 66,000 a day that's added to liquidity. So every single day, 66,000, that would give us about 24 million in the pool at the end of 1 year. And so figure, of course, that's considering evolution, but that would give you what market value that token could be at. So let's just say it's only at half of that because you're going to have your sellers in between. So let's just say it only, hits $2,500, $3,000, but that's what almost 60,000 miners docked and people submitting in the community would take that token too. So I think when the leasing comes out, I've been working on a spreadsheet to kind of come up with what would be a fair leasing fee. I'm not quite done with it because I have to incorporate so much of the algorithms into it just to kind of get what I think is a fair price. But, I can make those available when I do get them done, and I'll have them done before it comes out. The evolution prices, will they ever lock? No. Because they'll start to increase. They'll become dynamic, just like you see the fee structure when you submit, those fees increase as the market value goes up, they decrease as the market value comes down. When the community reaches that sustainable level that we need to be at, the evolution will become also dynamic. It will not be static like it is right now. And so the evolution prices will go up as the market value goes up, and the evolution will come down as the market value goes down. This way, your miners continue to increase in value. So you always want your miners, that's what you use to mine these tokens. You want them to appreciate in value. And so the evolution prices, and I would say it'll probably happen here in the next 3 to 6 months, where you'll see those increase. They'll start to increase in price. Oh yeah, you guys, those of you who are not mining with the Titans, I encourage you to level them up as soon as you can, and especially with the prices like they are right now. We decided to go ahead and extend it through to Friday, only because we had so many people saying that we're waiting for their Bitcoin to convert and to be able to get it into their wallets. And then we're like, you know what? We might as well just let it go till Friday. We're hoping that, when we end that promotion, the leasing will have already been up or be coming very quickly after. You guys will have been able to upgrade some of those miners you want to lease to make it competitive. So it's not, just movers on the leasing marketplace. So Friday, you guys, at 9 p.m. Eastern, that promotion will be over. And I am not going to say we'll never have another one, but it wouldn't be any time in the very near future. I can tell you that. So we won't move to another chain until the community is large enough to sustain the Avalanche chain. And we're in the process right now of working on correcting the Binance Smart Chain. So those who are on Avalanche, if they want to start mining over on Binance, they can. And then our goal is to be up on probably Base will be our third one, hopefully by spring. That is our goal, to be up there by spring. It doesn't make any sense to add new chains until the ones that we're on are stabilized. So that the spring is that's our goal. We say amount of coins per day on other exchanges. Yes. And we won't have a liquidity raise. So this is the other thing that's going to make even the other chains more powerful. So Binance Smart Chain, that was our beta phase. That's when we were doing all the development, 3.5 years. Very saturated, not very many users over there. That was kind of done on purpose. Avalanche, that was our proof of concept to prove to people how this ecosystem works. It's been extremely successful. We did do a liquidity raise for the MoveQuest there. But when we move to the next chains, we will just deposit the MoveQuest, 100,000 MoveQuest tokens to 100,000 USDT. It will list at $1, and everybody will have to go to the exchange to purchase the tokens directly from the exchange. There will be no liquidity raise whatsoever. And those of you who are already in the Avalanche community will be able to mint and evolve your miners at a 50% discount. So you'll be able to move, not move, but you'll be able to add a chain at 50% of the cost by being on the previous chains, both chains.